So, Spirit Chronicles is an anime that I was really looking forward to as we jumped into summer season. Reason being was this is kind of a different take on your normal isekai anime. Typically, isekai involves either people being summoned into another world, they're put in a position to where they're a hero, or they get hit by Truck-kun and then they're reincarnated into another world. They're either born or reincarnated into somebody else's, existing body or something of that nature. Well, with Spirit Chronicles, it still takes that same kind of concept, but it turns it on its head slightly because it's not like a full reincarnation. You have a dude who is like 20 years old who had lived his life in Japan, and instead of Truck-kun, he gets hit by Train-kun while he's in a bus, and he kind of does get reincarnated in a way, but he gets put in what I'm guessing is probably like a 12-year-old, 10 or 12-year-old's body, and that person's name is Rio. Well, that person already exists, has his memories, has his goals, his ambitions, aspirations, things like that, but he's an orphan in the slums. Well, he gets basically put into that kid's body, but both of their souls still exist. He has the memories of what he was, who he was, what he knew, and he has all of the memories of current. So it's basically, I think most of the season, it might be a clash or it could be like a marriage of their both souls that end up being together, which I just think is just such a real interesting concept. And so far, the way that they're doing it in the first episode, I think is interesting, but it has me hopeful for what's to come. So, well, speaking about the first episode, guys, I think I am completely invested from the get-go. I love a lot of the things that the anime is doing already, and I have very little negative to really say, if any negative at all. The first thing that I want to comment on is, my God, this anime is beautiful. It is gorgeous to look at. Whatever studio is doing the work, which I'll make sure I look up, put it in the comments if you guys know already. Whatever studio is doing the work is doing a fantastic job. The way that the bodies and the faces and the characters are rendered, the way that they have their complexions and their eyes, the eyes always really do it for me. I think it looks freaking just completely gorgeous. I love the animation. Even the battle animation, where Rio or Haru, whichever one you want to call, we'll call him Rio, when he gets his magical power, when the lady comes down and gives him his power and he's doing the moves and he's summoning his karate that he knew before. Like, I thought that was really well animated with him being attacked, and I love the animation. The concept that I just talked to you guys in the beginning, the concept I think is a really good concept to move the story and the plot forward, and I really want to see what's going to come next, so I love that as well. And of course, the fantasy world that they're in is a little bit generic, but that's okay. Most fantasy worlds are very similar now in anime. But I also really love that Rio, right? So, well, let's talk about the whole episode. So, he's a kid in the slums. He doesn't have much going for him. He's working for like these thugs. His mother was killed at some point. He was living a good life as like a child. His mother was killed for what? For what reason? I don't know for sure. We'll probably find out as the anime goes on. But he was killed and he's just trying to make ends meet in the slums. He's not necessarily working, but he's being controlled by this group of like slum gangsters essentially. And he gets approached by some girls who are looking for a runaway princess or princess that was like kidnapped. That concept I think is really cool right out the get-go. He meets them, he doesn't know anything about them, and he goes back to his place where all these gangsters were, and he meets a dude who's basically he wiped the whole place out. He killed all of them, and he gets attacked, and when he gets attacked, his magical ability suddenly basically comes into fruition by a goddess or something that knew him and it called him by Haru, his original Japanese name, and that activates his power. And he's able to use his karate and other moves that he has to defeat the guy. And then he discovers a bag that contains the princess. He rescues her. He makes his way to go and return her to the people that he just met. They get caught up. He gets taken to the castle. He gets tortured, beaten, battered. As the princess wakes up, she deems him the hero that saved her because that's what he did. And at that point, he's healed, and he's gonna have some pre-existing stuff. The vice captain in this anime is a piece of garbage. He's gonna have definitely some animosity there, as I would. But he takes advantage of that situation really cool. And her older sister, he asks her to, he's going to have an audience with the king. So he asks her to, hey, teach me the way to be becoming of somebody who is being granted an audience. He grooms himself. He gets a change of clothes, and he goes and he greets them in a good way to initially make a really good impression. And then the next episode is called Royal Academy. So I'm thinking that as the anime goes forward, or the next episode goes forward into the anime, I'm thinking that he's going to ask as a reward to, under the king's kind of supervision, or under the king's kind of like permission, be granted permission to go and attend the Royal Academy to better himself, get himself out of the slums, get him some goals, get him some financial backing, right? The princess that he saved was blushed, and she liked what she was seeing as she saw him all cleaned up and stuff. So I really, really am digging this anime going forward. Like, I like the concept of it. I like the characters. I like the animation. The story was really compelling, and I'm interested to see how is he going to, quote unquote, awaken? How is his past soul going to merge with his current one? Is he going to continue to have memories? Is he going to become self-aware? Like, what am I doing in this body? Is there going to be some clash, or how are they going to merge the two souls is what I'm really interested to see as the anime goes on. But overall, I loved it. There's not really any negative that I could pick out. The only negatives that I would say really is the generic fantasy world, which could be very much like, when I say generic fantasy world, I mean it just looks the same as most other fantasy worlds, but it could definitely be with a lot of plot. It could definitely be grown out and become something more as we get introduced to a lot of the different characters and people who are going to be involved. And the other negative is obviously just the way he's reincarnated. But the good part about that was I was not expecting the bus train scene whatsoever. I was definitely expecting something different. And the last thing that I will say that's not negative, but it's the last positive, is that he's 20, so he's an adult. I like that he's not a middle school or high school kid. He's actually he's a university, he's an adult. So I like that concept as well too. But let me know now what you guys thought about the first episode about Spirit Chronicles. Let me know what you guys thought, positive and negative. Are you going to keep watching? Are you going to stop here? What did you guys think? Throw it down in the comments right now. Do me a favor, watch these videos over here so YouTube says it's best for you. This is other summer anime right here. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 2 of Spirit Chronicles. Peace out, guys.